Hey guys, so I've been off the trail for a little bit, and of course all of the editing is done, as you guys have seen. And I wanted to kind of sit back and just do a little video, just to talk about what I learned on a 6-day bike touring trip. So this is my longest ride that I've ever done. I just started riding about a year and a half ago, but this was definitely the longest ride that I've done. The actual OTET itself is 326 miles, and at the end of the entire trip, I think we had 345 miles total. That's just, shooting off the trail for lodging, restaurants, looking at things, whatever, sightseeing a little bit. So 345 total. Oh, and we ended in Cincinnati and we rode back across the bridge, the Purple People Eater Bridge to Kentucky for our ride to take us back home. So that added a little bit on too, which actually I liked that. I always like riding across that bridge. But longest distance bike ride that I have done, I'm not going to say it was easy, but it wasn't nearly as hard as I thought it was going to be, to be honest. There were days, we're putting in 60, 70 miles, and you're like, whew, all right, I'm done. But I think overall I felt good. The worst that I felt was whenever I crashed my bike on day 2. So that was just soreness afterwards. So some of the things that I did learn, speaking of bike crashes, make sure you know where your local bike shops are in case you need to get a repair. Because Frank did a lot of planning. He did all the planning, to be honest. I think I was just in the throes of motherhood and all the things in life, and he planned everything. He's the one that got me into cycling, so I just said go for it, and he did it. So he did a lot of planning. He was the one that ordered our panniers and things like that. He already had some that got mine. I got the gravel bike not long ago. But I think I have the gear list and all that stuff in the video, so you can see all that stuff there. But anyways, he did all the planning. I did all the pedaling. He knew where the bike shops were. I think unfortunately where I had my crash, and as I progressively rode, the shifter got worse. So luckily we knew where that one was the second day, or I guess the third day of riding. So I was able to go to Why Not Cycling and get it taken care of. And that guy, I swear, he was the nicest guy. I was in and out. It was $20. He took care of the bike, saved the trip, stuff like that, makes my day. So I was super excited to go there. And there just unfortunately wasn't a bike shop on day 2 that we could get to. So yes, so make sure that you don't crash your bike and you don't have to worry about it. Working shifters are important. That's something that I learned. So if they don't work, like I said, you need to know where your bike shop is. Chamois butter, that one, it's a necessity on a 6-day bike tour. And I will say Aquaphor is a close second, because if the chamois butter loses its strength, you're going to need Aquaphor later on. Wind burn is a thing, so the Aquaphor is dual purpose. Wink, wink. I did start my face was getting red, getting a little dry and stuff, so Aquaphor definitely helps out. I put some on before bed, and it was it ended up helping that out a lot. I realized that riding in the rain is fine. I'm a runner and I run in all the elements. I don't care. Riding in all the elements is a little bit different for me, just because I've been a runner for so long. I think it was hard for me to switch over and get my mindset in the cycling game. But when you're riding in the rain, it comes at you a lot harder than when you're running, because you're going faster. But it's fine. I didn't like it for the whole first day. It was literally, the whole first day was nothing but rain. We made the jokes about oh, look, it quit raining, only when we were going under an overpass. It was nonstop. But at some point you just kind of go, okay, it is what it is. I mean, we were covered with crushed limestone, grit, gravel, dirt, everything the first day. And it was definitely got to the bed and breakfast, and it was a water hose spraying everything down, just the entire bike, everything down. Because it was a mess. It was spraying ourselves down. Our shoes were soaking wet. They were wet the next day when we got on the bikes, obviously, because we had to spray them out. You could pour water out with gravel and grit. So that probably takes me to my next one, is I'm not a fan of bed and breakfast. I didn't know this because I haven't stayed in one before. The first night we stayed at a bed and breakfast, I think it would be okay, but to be honest, and I'm not going to throw people under the bus, I wasn't a fan of the bed and breakfast that we stayed at, although it came highly recommended. I'm not going to throw out names or whatever, but if you want to go back to day 1 and you see where we stayed, then that works out. But I think it was very highly rated, and all the amenities were 100% there as far as food and coffees, all the stuff, whatever. I wasn't a fan of the host. Sometimes as a female you get talked down to or ignored from a male, thinking they're And that's exactly what happened. Also, I'm 44 years old and I don't need anyone to question me about stuff. Like why did it take me so long to get there? I got some of that. Frank and I, what took you all so long to get here? You said you were here and I thought you'd be here in 10 minutes. My parents don't even question me. And we got that when we pulled up and I thought, I don't know. It did not go well with me. And I'm a laid back, get along with everybody kind of person. That one, anyways, that's all I'll say about that. So probably no more bed and breakfast for me unless I try one out down the road, not where we went the first time. But I am a huge fan of little cabins in the wood. So in the woods, we stayed at, I think it was Rustic Retreat, and they had this cute little cabin. There was a couple little places you could stay right there, in their little compound, I guess, but we were completely solely the only ones there in that cabin. We didn't have to mess with any people, whatever. We were in, we were out. It was clean. I loved it. And it was right on the trail. You literally come off the trail, go up a little gravel driveway, and you're right there. So I did love that one. Found out that Frank and I can spend 6 days together nonstop and be just fine. Also found out that the trail can be very quiet because if you're not riding side by side and talking, you're kind of single file when people are passing. Clearly I'm a talker. So I found out if I don't talk a lot through the day, what ends up happening is I make videos and I really just like vomit from the mouth at the end of my day, recapping everything. So sorry if I was a little heavy on all the talking in the videos. I've gone a long time throughout the day without talking. I also realized that I ride a lot faster through sketchy towns. There were a couple of places, probably more so like around Cleveland and that area, that were a little sketchy, and it was crazy. Like my average was a lot faster through there. I was like, let's just go. I found out that Ohio allergies are way worse than Kentucky allergies. Like I live in the Ohio Valley in Kentucky, and my allergies are not great. But I went to Ohio and was like, oh my gosh, like I was just congested the entire time. I was taking allergy medicine and stuff. It wasn't even cutting it. What was cool though is that we kind of got 2 falls. Minus the allergies, take that part out. Because I got to see the fall in Ohio because I think it was like day 4 maybe, or I think when we woke up, and it literally was just like the leaves changed overnight. It was really, really pretty. But then I got back to Kentucky and then we had fall here. So I was like, I got 2 falls with all the leaves changing this year. I wouldn't usually get that. I thought that was pretty cool. I realized that 6 days on the trail is probably the magic number of days. I think Frank agreed. Any more than that, I would have been ready to go home. And any less than that, I think the mileage per day would have been like a lot more, and I wouldn't have appreciated it as much. So if we would have been, pulling out 67 mile days every day instead of like throwing in some 40s here and there, I think I wouldn't have been able to see as much as I did. I wouldn't have been able to enjoy it. I feel like I probably would have felt like I was on a mission, like just get it done. And and I've seen like YouTube videos and stuff like that. People have gotten out there and done it in 3 days, and that's just all it is nose to the grind. So we did go into the little shops, we met people, we talked to people along the way on the trail. So I feel like we got a pretty good sense of what like Ohio to Erie Trail really is. I accomplished my longest ride ever on day 2, which I have since done a longer ride, so you guys will have to keep an eye out for that video probably like in a couple of days, so you guys can see what I did with that one. And then I also hit my 500th Strava activity on day 3, so I thought that was kind of cool. Like day 3 I was like, oh look, that's like my 500th like activity I've done since I've had Strava for a few years. And then I also met my cycling goal on this trip. So I had a goal of riding 1,000 miles this year and then running 600 miles. And I have it's like 24 miles left of running to meet my goal this year. And it is basically mid-November, a little bit further. So barring any injuries or anything, I should complete that. And then my cycling goal was 1,000 miles this year. And I surpassed that on this trip. I'm actually like over 1,200 miles now. So it has been a very, let's say like successful year as far as goals, like for running and cycling right now. You guys have, if y'all seen the other videos, you've already seen what my goals are. So far I'm on track for it. It won't finish up until February just because of the Polar Bear Grand Prix series. So I will know in February if I finish my goals for this year. Otherwise I think like just a long tour like that, like 6 days, that's long for me. I've only like ever done bike packing like overnight. Obviously we stayed at hotels and things like that this time, but I think really just being prepared and like packing minimally minimally, goodness, shea butter, seriously, in like aquaform necessities, is like if you're not comfortable on your bike, it's not going to be fun. You know, I already had like the right cycling shorts and things like that. My bike, I got a tune up before I went. So everything was good to go with that. Of course, after I had my crash on there, you know, my bike tire was a little messed up, my shifter and my brakes. So he fixed my brakes too. When I got the tune up, my brakes were not as tight as they should have been, I don't think. But once he took a look at it, so he got them right back to where they needed to be. So that was great. The only thing is just, we did laundry while we were out. We took like 3 days worth of clothing and we just washed clothes while we were on the trail at different places that we stayed. I think snacks and things like that, you know, kind of planning out the stores that you have, making sure you have, you know, a little bit of snacks with you all the time. Stopping at different restaurants and stores along the way, making sure that you're loaded up, because sometimes you're getting out on these long stretches on the trail that you don't have anything. Making sure you have water. I don't think there was one time I ever ran out of water. Just really knowing where your stops are. Like I said, Frank did a lot of that, but you know, every morning we kind of go over like what we were going to do, where we could stop, what our end game was for that day. And just being prepared is really like what makes a successful trip, and being able like to roll with the punches. It's probably the two most important things: being prepared and roll with the punches. Like I wasn't expecting a bike crash. I wasn't expecting day one all rain. But you know, we had dry bags, and there was some frustration on day 2 when my shifter just kept messing up. I think really more on day 3 when it really was getting bad. I remember stopping at a trailhead and was just like, oh my gosh, I need to get myself together because I'm miserable and I don't want to miss out on this trip. So just taking a minute to breathe and being like, it is what it is. I'll get through it and I'll find a solution when I can. Like, that's kind of my frame of mind. Otherwise it would have taken me out of the game probably mentally. I was going to finish that trail no matter what. So being prepared, roll the punches. I think that really was it. I mean, it was a great trip. It was a great experience. I will definitely do more for sure. I like staying in hotels and stuff. I'm down with backpacking too, bike packing, but I don't think I would want to do it for 6 days, honestly, because you know, if I take a trip that long, it's my vacation and I'm not trying to work for my vacation. But I'll put a few little details in the description if you guys have questions about anything about the panniers or dry bags or anything. I mean, let me know in the comments. We'll get back with you as soon as I can. And otherwise, look forward to a new video coming up soon because it's already ready. I'm just waiting to post it. And since the OTET, I've been busy running. It is running season right now. And I've got some other things to let you guys know about. So you guys have a good day. Bye.